Hey everyone, it's Horror Free For All, and I hope you're having a great day so far today. I have a horror movie haul, a very quick one, of just some things that I picked up over the past weeks or months, not too far back in time, that I just haven't had time to make a video for and share with you all. And I also have a hoodie that I'm currently wearing, which is Killer Clowns of Outer Space. I got this from, I think, Marshall's for like 20 bucks. It was an awesome deal. And I love the look of it. I mean, the colors are so bright. But anyways, I think one movie I was supposed to show in my last haul video, and I completely left it out of my stack, so I'm making up for lost time there. And the rest pretty much goes far back as after Thanksgiving. So like around the holidays, up through January, and up through mid-February. So let's get right into it, because I have some movies to show you. This one I haven't shown yet, and I don't know why I didn't. This was supposed to be in my last haul video, but I picked up Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2, I have a lot to say about this movie, and I'll probably get to reviewing this around the Halloween season this year. The entire Terrifier franchise, that's including All Hallows Eve 1. So stay tuned for that. But my opinion about Damien Leone and the Terrifier films, I support him. I will prefer stuff like this over long-standing franchises getting requels any day. But I'm not the most massive fan of this franchise by any means. There's a lot of problems I have with it. But I do respect the work that Damien Leone is doing with these movies. I don't actually own the first movie or All Hallows Eve, so I'm going to have to acquire them. But I'm in no rush at this point because, like I said, it's later in the year and I'm not the biggest fan. But I picked this up. I think I got it at Walmart for $15, and I'm pissed off because I went to Best Buy today. They had a copy with the slip for $7.99. It was pretty much slashed in half on sale. I guess nobody cared enough to buy Terrifier 2. I went to Walmart the other day, and they still had 4 or 5 copies of the Terrifier 2 Steelbook. So yeah, nobody cared to buy it. Sad reality of physical media is in right now. Best Buy, unironically, is about to get rid of physical media, which is sad, but that actually perfectly ties into my next two because I got both of these from Best Buy recently. Now my Best Buy still has a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna try to pick and choose over the next month or two to get everything I can out of there, to kind of have one last physical media haul from them. But I did pick up 2 purchases recently. So I was online, and I was in the market for this film. I wanted a 4K copy or a Blu-ray of it. And I saw that Best Buy had the 4K without the slip for like $19.99 online. So I put it in my cart, and I went to pick it up the same day because I needed to get it. And it's John Carpenter's They Live. I was so shocked to get this for like 20 bucks because I actually have a Suncoast video about an hour for me, and I saw they had this movie in there for like 35, and I was dreading that price. I really did not want to pay up for it. As a matter of fact, I think I'm about to go there tomorrow at the time of me making this video to drop 35 on a specific movie that I've been trying to get in my collection just because it's warmed up on me over the years to the point where I absolutely love it. A specific cut of this film. I'm gonna keep it a surprise though, because I definitely want to make a review of it soon. But to get They Live for 20 bucks, and you get all these bonus features on the Blu-ray, and you get to see like featurettes with Roddy Piper, who's no longer with us, and a young Keith David. I'm a massive Keith David guy, a massive John Carpenter guy. I love Roddy Piper, whether he was in WWE or WCW. So yeah, this movie's just fantastic. John Nada is one of my favorite characters of all time in any sci-fi horror film. And the aliens are awesome. That's all I gotta say. They Live. Fantastic movie. And it also feels like adult Goosebumps in a lot of ways. But I'm gonna make a little mini-series talking about that very soon. And the other pickup I purchased was this film because I was on the fence of buying this or another movie, which I'm pissed off because I actually bought a DVD copy of this movie recently, and they had the Blu-ray there with the DVD combo pack for the same price as the movie I actually picked up. But because I got it on DVD, I was like, I'll wait until I go to Second Charles or something like that and find it there for like $5 to $10, which I'll get at least a price cut for. So I went ahead and bought this one for $13, if only because it's a semi-recent movie. I actually did check this out in the theaters. I actually liked it. It's one of the better 20th Century Fox and even Disney movies to come out recently, and it's called The Boogeyman. I know my boy Strange Michael, who's recently rebranded his channel to Night of the Living Dude, put out a review for this, and a lot of what he said I agree with, and I'm going to have to make my own review on this because I'm kind of going through this review, or I'm in this kick where I'm kind of doing this archetype of horror movie where you have, you know, kids experiencing stuff in a house or something, and in that old traditional Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps way. The Boogeyman is actually based on a short story from Night Shift. I've read the story. I really enjoy Boogeyman short story. The movie, it kind of drags, but I still thought it was above average and solid enough. Anything that's a 4 out of 5 or higher, I try to keep in my collection. Actually, more so that 3.5. I'll keep like a 3.5 in my collection, or like a 3 out of 5 stars or lower. If they're in a franchise I love. But other than that, I've gotten into the habit where if a movie's garbage and I took a flyer on it, I toss it. And if I watched a movie in the theaters and I didn't like it, I don't pick it up. But this I did like, so I thought I'd pick this up for my physical collection, just to have it in case I ever want to watch it again. All right, these next three, I actually took, well, one of them's not a flyer, but 2 of them are. These 3 are recent Big Lots pickups. And Big Lots had a restock recently. So if you have not been to Big Lots recently, go check it out because they've restocked a lot of films. I saw pretty much the entire Leica animated features on Blu-ray there. They had Coraline, Paranorman, The Box Trolls, and even that Hobo movie. They had a couple of weird bind-ups of movies that I don't know, are I guess considered controversial, that are kind of hard to find. They had tons of stuff in there. So the main reason I wanted to go is because a YouTuber that I watch that pretty much hunts videos live and in color showed that they had this movie in, and I heard a lot about it, and I literally went there to get this. It is called Becky. This is a 2020 film. It stars Lulu Wilson, Kevin James, and Joel McHale. This is not not a PG movie, y'all. This is a very violent horror film. On the back it says a gory, blood-spattered fever dream take on Home Alone. And Kevin James plays a villain that's like a fucking prisoner that's escaped with a bunch of cronies, and they're coming after this girl, and she's basically fighting them off like Kevin McAllister fought off Harry and Marv, but in a fucking brutal way. I watched the trailer of this, and that's what inspired me to want to try to track down a copy. I was at Walmart recently. They had a copy for like, I think $10 or $15 for a DVD. And I was like, well, fuck that. I could pay that for a Blu-ray. Then I find it at Big Lots for, I think it was $4.99 or $3.99. This was actually $3.99 if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of these straight to Redbox movies, I think this was a Redbox original or something, you can find in Big Lots for like $3.99. Thank God for Big Lots. If we're getting rid of Best Buys and stuff like that, and we're keeping like Walmarts and Targets and I guess Big Lots to go get physical media, I'm hoping that Big Lots start getting in more DVD and Blu-ray physical media to sell to the masses. And I hope to God that Dollar Tree starts getting more of it again. Because Dollar Tree, a lot of these titles that Big Lots are getting in these days, I feel like should be in Dollar Tree. Like this would be a fun little Dollar Tree treat to find for $1.25. But unfortunately, you got to pay up a little bit extra. But I heard really good things about this, and I cannot wait to watch this and make a review on the channel. So yeah, I got Becky. This one, I actually, I thought I had this movie. And I looked at my collection earlier because I mentioned it in my previous review of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which I actually picked up recently for the haul, and I'll share that in a minute. And I thought I had this, but I didn't. So I knew that Big Lots had a bunch of these DVDs a while ago, and I wanted to see if they still had them. Sure enough, they had like 5 or 6 copies slashed down to like $1.30. So I was like, all right, I'll pick up a DVD. If I ever find a Blu-ray of it one day, I'll pick it up. But for now, I have a placeholder. I got Lights Out. Certified fresh, Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, this was like a gimmick thing back in 2016 where Rotten Tomato stickers would be put on every little movie that had a positive review. But this movie was genuinely good. Produced by James Wan, directed by David Sandberg. I know, my buddy Strange Michael, or Night of the Living Dude, mentioned in his review of The Boogeyman that Lights Out was like a better version of that movie. And I actually agree. I think Lights Out is a definite slept-on film in this niche little subgenre that I'm planning on reviewing soon. But now I have a copy to review for the video. So yeah, Lights Out. Expect that very soon. Probably at some point after my Cobweb review. And this last movie I took a flyer on, they had this for like $3. It was $2.99, something like that. And I've seen this in Big Lots before, and I always like just glance by it. But this time around, I saw it. I was like, let me check this out. And I turn it over on the back, and I see who's playing in the movie, and I see Brendan Fletcher. And I'm like, oh, Brendan Fletcher's in this? I'll just buy it for whatever. $3 is worth the price of the admission to see what this guy's doing these days. If you don't know who Brendan Fletcher is, he played a character in the Air Bud movie. He was the blonde kid. I forget his name, but he was on the Timberwolves team that transferred to the other team. You might recognize him from Goosebumps. He played Grady in The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, one of the most iconic Goosebumps episodes. He also had a starring role, I guess, in the main cast of a show from Nickelodeon called Caitlin's Way. He was also in Freddy vs. Jason from the early 2000s. So I picked up this movie because he's in it. Opened 24 hours. This is also, I think it's a 2020 or 2018 slasher. I forget what year it is. It might have been made in 2018 and then released in 2020. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I picked this movie up strictly for that. And then I looked into it. It looks like a slasher. And I normally don't do this, but I went on Letterboxd, especially with these low-budget movies, to kind of see maybe what I'm getting myself into. And Letterboxd seemed to be pretty positive leaning towards it, saying it's not the greatest movie ever, but it sounds like the first segment from John Carpenter's Body Bags, where you have the rest stop or gas station setting with a slasher. That's basically this movie, just drawn out for an entire film. It's 103 minutes. Good God. I don't know how well this idea could be stretched, but we'll see. I took a flyer on it, and I'll see if it's worth the hype. It might be a little hidden gem going on here, but glad to have this. All right, up next, we have some Target pickups, and I have 3 here. I had a gift card from the holidays, and I decided to pick up some movies from Target. Target nearby me has drastically shrunken their movie availability, and they now have a $4 box, and this first one came out of the $4 box, and I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and pick it up. I saw this movie in the theaters years ago and thought it was fucking frightening. I think it's definitely the best A24 movie ever made. It's called Hereditary, and it kind of fits into this subgenre. This is more of a Relic or Oculus type of movie than like a Babadook or Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, but it kind of feels like a blending of stuff. I think Hereditary and The Relic are almost the same fucking movie, but this was great when I saw it. It petrified me. Probably one of my favorite movie theater experiences is of actually just being afraid. And Ari Aster, easily, this is my favorite Ari Aster film. Every other one hasn't really hit for me, especially Beau is Afraid. What the fuck? Or Not Afraid, whatever the hell it's called. But Hereditary, very good. Very good. I'm glad I own this in my collection. And then these 2 were recent releases of 2023. I picked up Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm just going to get it off. I picked up Five Nights at Freddy's. I actually really enjoyed this movie. As a Five Nights at Freddy's casual, and here's the thing. I feel weird coming into a long-standing franchise as a casual saying I like the movie that most die-hard fans seem to be kind of disappointed with. That's totally fair, because I often find myself trying to defend my fandom against some normies coming into my fandoms. All I'm saying is, to me, I thought it was an enjoyable movie, kind of like a good gateway to get into this Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and it has me intrigued to want to try more, and I think it succeeded at doing that. It's pretty much like a marketing ploy movie for people to go buy the books and the video games and stuff. It's cool. And if we get more installments, maybe they can kind of improve on it. I don't know. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, super happy to have this. And then my favorite movie of 2023, hands down, and one of my favorite horror films ever made. Easily my favorite modern horror movie to come out in the past 15 years. I had to pick up Eli Roth Thanksgiving. And let me tell you the legacy of this film. Nearby me, Walmart sold out of this. Any place that got this Blu-ray in sold out besides Target. And when I went there, they only had 2 copies left in the back, and I had to go ask them to get me one. And apparently I wasn't the only one that day. They gotten in like maybe 8 to 10 copies, and they were already down to 2 within the day of release. This movie was successful. I'll tell you this. And people wanted this in their physical media collection. And this actually comes with bonus features. I haven't even opened it yet because I've just been like oohing and gawing that I own this thing. But it has deleted and extended scenes, outtakes, and all that. And probably, you know, behind the scenes and extra stuff linking this film back to the Grindhouse movie, where this idea of a film started out as a fake trailer. And I actually have some stuff similar to that to show you later. But nonetheless, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, what a fantastic motherfucking movie. One of my favorite movies of all time in the horror genre. If I ever make a top 10 horror films, this is on there somewhere. Fucking love this movie. Alright. Then let's get over to these next two. Both of these were thrift shop finds. I've already made a review on this movie, so I'll go ahead and show it. It's Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Yeah, what a fun little treat of a movie. It is derivative of this little subgenre. There's a lot of tropes that are overused and kind of saturated as it is, but I had a fun time with it, and I definitely recommend you go watch my review for this, and maybe pick this up for your collection. This is a remake of a 1973 straight-to-TV movie, and I was kind of intrigued about it, and I watched a trailer, and it looked like absolute shit, so I said, no, I'll never watch that. But I watched this and really enjoyed it. It's a whole different take on that idea from that 1973 film, it appears. And I'm fine with this. So yeah, glad to have this in my collection. And then I found this movie. Now, I actually heard about this movie, but I've never seen it before. And my good friend, BD Horror, said he loves this movie as like a Goosebumps for adults type of thing. And I was like, oh crap, they have this in this thrift store, so I picked it up. It's called The Babadook. And from what I've heard BD say, this is very much in vein like Lights Out, or it's very much in vein of, what's that other movie I just picked up? The Boogeyman, you know, stuff like that. So I can't wait to sink my teeth into this. I heard that this started out as like a short film or a film short, and the creator, Jennifer Kent, it was written and directed by her. Later on turned it into a theatrical film for IFC, so, or maybe it was some independent film that IFC bought, I don't know. So I can't wait to dig my teeth into this and see what this is all about. It looks very urban legend-esque. It looks very Alvin Schwartz, if you're a fan of his books like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yeah. So, yeah, can't wait to try this out. Thanks for the recommendation, BD, if you're out there watching. These next three are Goodwill pickups. And I'll go ahead and show them here. Two of these are Santa Claus horror films, ironically. But I picked up the Silent Night remake. Yeah, the Silent Night remake picked up. I don't remember. I think I had this copy, probably this exact copy a while ago. And I sold off a bunch of DVDs. And I don't remember why I sold this off. So I go back to Goodwill, or I didn't sell them off. I think I gave them away. Something to that nature. So I go to Goodwill, recently, I see a copy of this, and I remember when I checked my physical media before I left, I made a little short list of stuff I wanted, and I put this remake back on my want list, so I picked it up. It was like only 49 cents. But looking at the copy, it looks like the exact copy I got rid of. So ironically enough, at Best Buy, they had a Blu-ray copy of this for like $12 with the DVD, and I was like, I literally just bought a DVD for 49 cents. I'm not going to pick up the Blu-ray. But yeah, this is easily one of my favorite slashers of the past 15 years as well. Like up there with Thanksgiving, up there with My Bloody Valentine 3D, up there with a few other films. All 4 out of 5 stars or higher, worthy of the physical collection. So yeah, Silent Night, the remake. If you have not checked this out, I think this was also a straight to Redbox movie. But it was great. It's really great for what it is. And then this next one, I heard a lot of things about this, and I saw that it was directed by Joe Bagos, and I recently watched a movie called VFW, and I don't know why I didn't muster up the energy to make a review on it. I might do it at some point in the future, but I loved it, and I was like, all right, let me try this out. And it's called Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now, after trying this out, I need to make a review on this. I'll get to this very shortly because it's still fresh in my memory. This had a lot of potential, but it was not the greatest film by any means. But in comparison to other slashers of today's time, like I said earlier on with the Terrifier films, I'll still take this over these long-standing franchise bullshit. Just give me something new and different. This feels very throwbacky and all that. So if you're into that and holiday horror, maybe pick this up. But yeah, I got this for 49 cents. And then I got a found footage film that I don't know if it's quite horror, but it feels like it. It was sealed and everything. It's never been opened, and it was also 49 cents. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen this movie in its entirety. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it at my friend's house when I was in high school. But that's about it. So I was like, let me pick this up and try this out. It's called Chronicle. Chronicle is like a found footage movie with superheroes, I think. And it was directed by Josh Trank. And I looked at the Goodreads review, or not Goodreads, Letterboxd reviews of this film, and people seem to be very, appreciative of this story here. It has some mild Super 8 vibes, back when found footage movies were starting to get back in style in the early 2010s again. Super 8 came out, and then Chronicle. I remember a lot of my friends telling me that this was a great film, and I just never got around to watching it. So I'm going to try to watch this sooner than later, and then maybe get back to you and think about reviewing it on the channel or something. So stay tuned for that. And then my last 4 pickups were online. These first 2 come from eBay. I really wanted both of these movies for my physical collection, so I went ahead and bit the bullet. This is one of the Grindhouse fake trailer movies. I already have Machete Kills, and I have Thanksgiving, but I needed this one, which is the 3rd out of the 5 fake trailers to ever get turned into a film. And it's written and directed by Jason Eisner, who I also picked up another movie for in this haul, but I'll get into that in just a minute. It is Hobo with a Shotgun. Now, if you don't know who Jason Eisner is, he was actually like a small-time, film geek back in the mid-2000s. He won a contest to where Hobo with a Shotgun was put into the Grindhouse film. And because of that, he was able to get kind of a start, and he got recognized by Magnet, who I think is now an affiliate or was absorbed by Shudder. He got noticed by them, and then he went on, later on in Magnet to contribute a short that was in the VHS franchise, which had also been turned into a full film that I will get into. But Hobo with a Shotgun is more of like a brutal Grindhouse-esque, guilty pleasure, action, vengeance type of movie. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen this, and I remember seeing it on like Cinemax back in the day, so it's weird. Maybe might have clicked on it once just out of curiosity for the title, but I don't think I ever sat down and watched it. So yeah, I need to get through this movie and share my thoughts on it, because this is definitely a cool piece of history that I'm holding here. And I love the Grindhouse movies enough to care this much to sit down and watch it. So yeah. And I think I remember years ago this was being found in Dollar Tree. I remember seeing this in Dollar Tree at least. Kind of upset I didn't get it for $1 back in the day. But it is what it is. Glad to own it nonetheless. And then this movie I picked up this specific version. I could have got the Blu-ray, which also has the same features. This has a choose your own adventure thing going for it. And now you might be like, choose your own adventure horror, does that even exist? Yes. If you ever have owned the Final Destination 3 DVD, you know what I'm talking about. But a lot of people don't know that this exists, and I wanted it in my collection to kind of just see what it's all about and see if it's any good. It is Return to the House on Haunted Hill. And what's funny is they got a couple of people on this project I never would have thought they would have gotten here. They got Adam Kahn co-producing this. And Adam Kahn's made some pretty decent films. But I don't remember this movie being all that good. I think I've seen the normal theatrical version. But this HD DVD or Blu-ray version comes with a U-Control feature where you can have state-of-the-art navigational cinema to let you make choices that decide which characters live or die and how the story ends, featuring 96 possibilities. So you can have a lot of fun just going through the choose-your-own-adventure aspect. And I want to see what they did here in the HD, because back in the day on Final Destination 3, it was kind of dog shit, but it was still cool at the same time. So I'm hoping that this is better. We'll see. You know, a lot of the time, my hopes get very high and I get let down with these Choose Your Own Adventure DVDs. You know, but I thought I'll give it a whirl. And then my last two pickups. This movie, this one right here, was actually my second favorite film of 2023. And I checked it out because of a recommendation from my good friend Strange Michael. And I loved this. I thought that this was just fan-fucking-tastic. I loved it so much that I found a poster at work, because I work at a movie theater, and I got it framed, and I'm going to put it on my horror wall how much I love this film. It's called Cobweb, and it was made by, I think, a first-time director, Samuel Bowden, and it stars Anthony Starr from The Boys. I think he's from The Boys, yeah. And Lizzie Kaplan, she was in Mean Girls as Janice Ian. And the premise of this one is just so enthralling. What a tense, atmospheric film. It's set around Halloween. This is an annual watch every year for me now. It's one of my favorite horror films come out in recent memory. As a matter of fact, when I'm thinking about my favorite 2023 horror films, my most anticipated was Evil Dead Rise. Keep that in mind. It was Evil Dead Rise. Okay? Coming out of it, ended up being my fifth place favorite film from 2023 in the horror genre. Still a great movie. I have yet to review it because I want to re-review the Evil Dead franchise. But man, Cobweb was easily my second favorite. Right underneath this, I don't know, Dark Harvest was really great. Super solid. And then another movie, why am I blanking on the title? I just watched it the other day. It'll come back to me later. But yeah, this is up there, man. Cobweb, what a fantastic movie. What a fantastic movie. Love this. And finally, the last movie I have, I got from, I think Amazon as well. I got this on the order with Cobweb. I haven't opened this yet because I actually own this on digital. And it's a movie by Jason Eisner, Jason Eisner. He wrote and directed this just as he did with Hobo with a Shotgun. But this movie is based on a segment that he made for a film called VHS 2. And I don't know the title of the segment, but it definitely involved, I think it was the Alien Slumber Party Massacre or something. I forget what it was called. Something to that effect. And when I saw that Shudder put out a movie based around that short, I was like, okay, let me check this out. and it's called Kids versus Aliens. So this is another one of those horror shorts, or, you know, I guess horror anthology segments, kind of like how Terrifier started out, or kind of like how Thanksgiving started out, or even Machete from Robert Rodriguez. This is definitely in the same vein as that. And I watched the movie. I thought it was kind of fun. Not what I was expecting, but I liked it enough to have it in my collection just because I'm into this kind of stuff and I wanted it in my physical collection just as a keepsake. For, like, I don't know, I'm also like a history nerd, so I like to preserve things for history. But I think it's cool to have creators making shorts and turning them into movies type of thing. And this movie actually had some pretty good effects for what it was. Not the greatest writing ever, but very stylistic. Almost kind of like how Bloody Christmas looks in a lot of ways. But yeah, solid movie. I'll have a review of this soon enough. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's my horror movie haul that I picked up recently. Let me know down in the comment section. Did you like what I picked up? What movies have you picked up for your collection recently? I'm dying to know. And I'll see you next time.